This is a series that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I would love to fall in love with her, just go up to her and tell her how I felt. School drama. I remember she made me so mad one time. Every step of the way there were people that had my back. Everyone's story is different, and this is just my story. Hey guys, it's Gabriel. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me in the second part of my coming out story. In this video, I'm going to be covering some stories from my middle school experience. After 5th grade, my family actually moved to a place called Middletown, Connecticut. I ended up going to a school known as Kegwin Middle School. Kegwin Middle was a school only for 6th graders. This year happened to be when the final season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was airing on TV. All the way up until the very last episode, it just had this huge impact on my life. And it's interesting looking back on it now because Buffy actually ended during a time where I needed it the most. Dealing with what I dealt with in middle school, it definitely made me a much stronger person. So with that being said, I'll dive into the stories. Not all the stories are gonna be like sad, but to start off with the lighter story, I had this one friend. He was aware that there was a girl that I was talking to. She and I possessed similar qualities. Like, she was very shy, I was also very shy. Everybody in 6th grade, they were looking for romantic relationships, right? This particular friend wanted to set me up with somebody. One day during lunchtime, I think he had asked me, hey, do you like so-and-so? As soon as I answered, he went to her lunch table and asked her the same question. Do you want to be boyfriend and girlfriend with Gabriel? Sure, like, why not? We were literally just friends. If anything, we just became closer friends, and that was pretty much it. We did go to a dance together. I don't think we danced. We did what I normally love to do, which is go to a dance and just sit and talk and watch other people dance. I remember, like, my family was like all excited, like, oh, Gabriel's going to a dance with a girl. And to be honest, I don't know if we ever broke up. So after 6th grade, we ended up going to Woodrow Wilson Middle School. The school was difficult. There was a couple of people that would bully me, like, regularly. It wasn't physical ever, thankfully. This time around, like, it wasn't just about my voice, but it was also about what I looked like. And I guess at the time I was wearing like hand-me-downs and stuff. My clothes, I guess, just didn't look nice or whatever. I didn't know how to defend myself. One of the classes that this would constantly happen in was French class. And this teacher, I think she was like new. This kid would just like bully me and she wouldn't know like what to do. In many cases, I felt like I was sort of on my own. I would go home like crying a lot. My mom had to counsel me like a lot that year. I had a black English teacher, Miss Jenkins. I loved her so much. She was very stern and very funny. I think unintentionally funny. Definitely my favorite class to go to because most of my friends who were girls were also in the same English class, so we just like bonded over that. 7th grade, around New Year's, I believe, is when I found out I was going to be moving again. I ended up moving in April, but before I moved, the students in my English class actually wrote me handwritten notes on this big poster board. It was like the most touching thing. I actually still have the poster, obviously not here in Korea. Oh, it brings back so many memories. My family moved back to Virginia. We actually moved back to the same city that we were in before, and I went to Rodney Thompson Middle School. At this middle school, there was nobody that I recognized from elementary school, so it was tough, and I felt very alone. That's going to be a theme here. Thankfully though, drama class is actually something that saved me. I met one of my best friends in drama class, and that was like the most fun. That class really just like helped open me up. Outside of that class, I was realizing that people would smile to my face, but then they would talk behind my back, say whatever they wanted about the new kid. I didn't really know like who I could trust, and I felt like everyone in my drama class was pretty genuine. After 7th grade, the intensity of the negative aspects of middle school was just getting worse. It's weird, like even in 8th grade, I felt like people still saw me as like the new kid. I've never experienced more situations where every corner I turned, it's like the same stuff over and over again. He sounds like a girl, I think he's gay. Oh, he talks like a girl, I think he's gay. Do you think he's gay? I was internalizing a lot of it, and I wanted what people were saying about me to stop, and the only way that I could think about how to make it stop would be to get a girlfriend. Everyone was just sort of linking up. In my mind, I was like, well, if I had a girlfriend, that's enough to make people like get off my back, right? I turned to one of my best friends. I convinced myself to believe that maybe I had a chance with this person. We get along so well, she's so kind and nice, and again, we were just just the best of friends, so what could go wrong? Obviously, if you're gay and you're thinking about telling someone of the opposite sex that you like them, in a sense, it's a lie, like you're lying to them. It was a selfish thing, what I did, and there was a desire and a want for me to just do anything possible to just get people to like chill out and not say things about me, and just, you know, shifting the conversation from Gabriel's gay to, what, Gabriel has a girlfriend? Like, maybe we're wrong, you know? Ugh, gosh. It's embarrassing to talk about, but that's the truth. So I took a chance. After I told this girl that I liked her, from my perspective, she just kind of got weirded out by me, and our friendship just turned like super sour. From that moment on, all of a sudden we started having arguments. Little things became bigger issues. Our group of friends would have lunch together, and it just got so bad to the point where I felt like our group didn't really know how to handle it. These poor guys, like, they were just literally being forced to watch the aggressive tension that she and I had. She no longer wanted to sit with me, so the group kind of had to choose. I ended up being exiled from the group. I feel like people watching are like, what, exiled? But that's literally what it was. So for a couple of weeks, I was eating by myself because realistically outside of this group, I didn't have anyone else to eat with at lunch. I remember there was a guy in my Spanish class, him and his friend saw me at lunchtime. He called out my name and I looked at him because I was like, why are you calling out my name? He blew me a kiss. It was like so clear that he was just like mocking me. I just ignored it. I finished my lunch, and yeah, that was pretty much my life. It was tough, and that was leading into Christmas/winter break. The story's not over, but looking back on it, that feeling of isolation and feeling like really alone, and this is what I was getting at with the whole Buffy thing. Like, Buffy was like a saving grace for me. In times where I felt like I was at my weakest, I would think about her. Even as young as I was when Buffy started, I realized that she was not the norm. She was somebody that stood against the grain, turned stereotypes right on its head, and that was very empowering and inspirational to me. This was the first time I didn't have like brand new episodes to like, you know, reflect on, and I don't know, I just kind of had to work things out myself, and going through that was actually one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Unlike being bullied, I didn't break down. I wasn't going home crying about it every day. It sucked, and I definitely complained about it, but it kind of gave me a lot of strength to realize that I can deal with a lot more than I thought. So New Year's came around. At this point, I was sort of just accepting my situation for what it was. I was completely shocked to find that this friend approached me. She basically said it's a new year and she wants to clean the slate and just start over. The situation that I was in was so difficult. I felt like she was handing out an olive branch and I was obviously going to take it. So from that moment going forward, things just got so much easier. I was allowed back into the lunch circle and everyone just kind of became normal again. And I was thankful for that. And over time, forgiveness did come on both ends. One of the last things that I dealt with in middle school, it just became like the biggest theme of my life. The bullying and the name calling, the talking behind my back, all of that was at its height. There was a situation with one of my best friends. It was another typical day where it's like, oh, you know, they heard someone say something about me. Regardless of how many times I hear what people are saying about me, of course it hurts. Every time I hear it myself, every time a friend comes and tells me what someone else said, it hurts. What I was shocked to find was that this friend of mine tried to give me advice, I guess. They basically said, because so many people are saying the same thing about you, don't you think that maybe it would be smart for you to change? When my friend said this to me, it was like a switch went off in my head, and I realized that I was just doing everything wrong. There was a part of me that was wondering, am I supposed to change? Am I supposed to do something different? And it's so clear that I did feel like that, because here I was sitting here willing to lie to somebody and say, hey, I like you, like let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, when that's not really how I felt, and that's how desperate I was to get out of the situation. There is nothing for me to do. In fact, actually changing myself is the exact opposite of what I should do, because at the end of the day, it wasn't until it was verbalized and I could visualize what it would mean to change myself and make other people happy. Maybe I should lower my voice, maybe I should get a girlfriend, maybe I should stop liking the stuff that I like, stop talking about the things that I talk about, stop talking the way that I talk. Just literally change everything about me. Recognizing what it really means to change yourself, I just realized how wrong that was. It was so clear to me in that moment. I was like, that is something I will never do. That was the moment where I was able to drag myself out from under the depths of the darkness of what people were saying and thinking about me, and just being so worried about how I was being perceived. And for the first time ever, the only opinion that really mattered mattered was those who truly cared about me, and most importantly, myself. And truth be told, before I even let other people's opinions matter to me, I had to figure out for myself what I was dealing with and what I was going through. There was a moment that I had in the shower. I do a lot of thinking in the shower, actually. I remember like so vividly. I was in the shower, and for the very first time in my entire life, I told myself out loud, I'm gay. I cried in that shower. A whole bunch was just going through my mind, all of my shame, my vulnerability, and it wasn't the best feeling. I wasn't liberated, I wasn't happy about it, but for the first time I was recognizing there was a part of me that I had been denying this whole time. I was so busy trying to fight the words of what other people were saying that I didn't even take the time to figure out for myself, who am I? It was just the most like naked I've ever felt in every sense of the word. At the time I was what, 14, 15? 15 years of living, going through all the stuff that I went through, I still wasn't able to fully accept it. I was only able to recognize it. That alone was already like way too much for me. So I stored it away and life continued onward. So I did want to say, as bad as it sounded, you know, with that friend, the one that I said that I liked, and we went through arguments and all that, she and I are actually really good friends now. It wasn't until college that I finally got a chance to tell her the entire story. I basically told her, yeah, you know, at the time, like, I was gonna use you to try to cover up what was going on with me, and she was so sweet about it. I was a little bit worried that she'd be mad, but she just said the nicest things, and she had nothing but sympathy about the whole situation. And obviously back when the stuff was going on, like, she just had no idea the reasons behind what I did. She was like, if I could go back in time, like, I would be your fake girlfriend. And I was like, oh, you're so nice. So middle school was scathing, but I'm thankful for the experiences that I had, because without having gone through what I went through, I definitely would not be the person that I am today. The last thing that I wanted to say is the theme of my YouTube channel is be yourself, love yourself. It was a huge lesson to learn in my life, and I hope that sharing my story can help others to learn to accept who they are, and not just in terms of what we're talking about with coming out and being gay and everything, but just in general. There's gonna be things that people don't like about you or that people can't accept about you. Before anybody can accept you and love you for you, you have to do that for yourself first. Once you get to that point of being yourself and loving yourself, then that's when other people are going to be able to see that about you, and they're going to be able to share that experience with you. They're very simple words, but to actually do it and to actually have that as like a daily reminder, it can definitely be life-changing. Middle school was like going through a surgical procedure, and high school was sort of the recovery afterwards. So I'll be diving into that in the next video, and I hope that you guys will continue this coming out story with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely be sure to subscribe. It really helps me out. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Zuff678. Be yourself, love yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye. Moving in April, I don't know why we did that. It was like the worst thing we could ever do. I had this one teacher, she was just a civics teacher. She had like no sympathy for me, and she like straight up told me, I know you're new here, but you're gonna have to do this final project like everyone else, so pay attention. And I was like, oh, this middle school. When you're kids, like, you innocently say like, she's my girlfriend or he's my boyfriend. In my mind, I was like, oh, like, who's that person for me? A big story arc from my life in elementary school was centered around this girl. I just remember thinking like, oh, like, if there was somebody that I would grow up and want to be with, like, that would be her.